Age of War Chapter 3 recently released, and they messed up a few things to say the least. And the Purge was allegedly one of them. I've been doing some testing since the release, and it's not too bad. I've done pretty much every Purge up until a tier 10, because I wanted to save that to experience it with you guys. There are definitely annoying factors that go into the Purge. As the Purge focuses doorways on the way to your treasure coffer, occasionally they can take out stairs, and that's going to make your Purge null and void no matter how many tiers you've done thus far. They will deem your base unraidable and pack up and leave. Same goes if you happen to have more than 2 doors in a row. If I was to have a 3rd door there, they would just think my base is far too OP and not do it. So you're best off not building a thing that you'd think makes sense to build for a Purge base, but in fact, you're better off building a monstrosity like this. Straight on the ground as close as you can get it. Some form of maze. This all can be tier 1 as well because they don't damage anything bar the doors in the current update. Every now and then there will be some thralls in the Purge that throw fire orbs and you will get a little bit of damage, but it's not too bad. You could still survive with tier 2. But it turns out you don't even need a roof. You don't need walls or anything particularly. You don't even need to build with fence foundations or any of this as long as it is slightly walled off and you have doorways. They will focus that and they will pathway through my little maze of thralls and more than most likely not make it all the way in. We also have a whole bunch of damage sponges that are camels now. We may not have them as mounts, but they have all of the HP. This one over here has almost 50k. So yeah, they go alright, and they're going to enable these guys to do a lot of the beating up while the thralls in the Purge focus on killing these guys. And they're pretty easy to buy and tame, and you can tame out a whole bunch of them. Same with Sumerian Berserkers. They're just spawned in dragon hide armor. They don't need to be wearing these Godbreaker helms. I was testing out stuff with gas. Didn't really work very well. Gas and palisades and traps, all pointless. Don't even bother. But you do want to make sure they all have a whole bunch of food, so I'll probably have to spawn in a bit more food and food them up. This gives them a strength buff, which is quite good for them, but exotic stews or something like that's pretty good too. It's nice, good healing. And for the most part, they just have weapons on them. That's pretty easy to get in the unnamed city because all of the bosses in there now drop weapons every time you kill them. So it's pretty easy to get up a whole bunch of these berserkers and some various other Purge thralls that you can get from the cages from doing the lower level ones. That's what a couple of these random dudes are. I also have a couple of archers up here just with some health arrows. It makes a little bit of a difference. They've buffed health arrows slightly. They're not as good as when they first brought them out, but they're definitely better than what they were recently. Then if you already happen to have fought a few Purges and seen the sellsword, you may have bought yourself some mercenary banners. They come in incredibly handy, so I'm going to place down a couple. You can only place down one type at a time, and I'm in admin mode so they won't disappear, but if you're not, they will. They're a one-time use, and as soon as the thralls die in them, they'll disappear. A bit like golems. You can't heal them. It's also a good idea to have something like a skidding knife and some type of Godzil gathering weapon like a Zathite ritual dagger, and you can then use that to summon a god to do the Purge here at Al Mariah. Get yourself up a little bit more coin, but I'd highly advise checking out my how to get gold and silver for your Purges and your pockets guide. There's definitely better ways than doing that raid. Then you want to build yourself a treasure coffer located in the treasure area of the decorations. Most of this stuff is crafted in an artisan table, but it's visible to me because I am in god mode, creative mode, whatever. But it all adds a little bit to your coffer, so if you don't happen to have any coins but you happen to have some of the stuff to make these things, I do believe without any coins in my room, this just here is enough to do a tier 3 Purge. And if you're just looking for a barkeep, I didn't bother doing a tier 1 or a tier 2 Purge, but I've done a tier 3 to a tier 9 and I pretty much got a barkeep in every single one, but the sellsword does show up a little less often and usually from a tier 7 or up, but you could get them lower. I haven't done a huge amount, but I've definitely gotten very lucky with the barkeeps and I got one in the tier 3 Purge, so you can just keep doing those to get them. Really, they're super easy, they're super quick. The higher the level the Purge, the more waves. At the moment we have enough for a tier 9. I'll just add that in there. That's given us over 100,000 and we have a 10, which is the max level currently. I do wish they mixed it up a little bit with what attacked you rather than just people. Like some frost giants would be cool, or some different animals, or yeah, something a little bit different. And definitely definitely the rewards are not worthy at the moment. The cheaper you can build your base, the more worth it is going to be. Yeah, you could definitely gather up a whole bunch of animals and use them instead of thralls, but it's quite easy to get up all the berserkers and all of that stuff. Like I said, it's the leveling of them that sucks. But there are some tips and tricks, and I do have a separate thrall leveling guide video if you'd like to check that out. But enough with the technicalities. Let's summon this purge. You can also talk to just your gold piles, proclaim your wealth. If you got too many doors or not enough stairs to your rooms, it will say it cannot spawn anywhere, and that's very confusing because you'll be built somewhere like this and going, oh, what the shit? I'm sure they can. Or they'll destroy your stairs and tap out, and you'll also be confused, like, why did they just stop fighting me? Because the stairs were just too OP and they couldn't possibly deal with that. I tried to build a base that I thought would be purgy, and in fact that was too crazy for them. And this is what must be. Oh, there we are. We're over there. That's a good distance. When I find the purges a bit too close, the guys tend to run in there, which is not that great. We have 20 Sumerian berserkers and maybe 10 or a little bit over 10 camels. And you do want them kind of close together, but not too close. And definitely some walled off ones in case these ones out here all die or get distracted and some people sneak past and start going through the doors. So far, and they do tend to bug out a little bit, which is kind of annoying. So you can make them follow you and unfollow you again. If you're not in admin mode, they will also be attacking you and you can help out in the fight. These guys have so much health, it's not really going to be a thing right now. We are likely to lose maybe 10 or so thralls between the camels and the fighters, but maybe less now that we have more camels that are fully healed. I do feel like, no, yeah, they've got enough food on them still. Some of them could handle some more. It's pure chaos. I have filled a few more of them up with some food, and I'm going to place down some of these banners to help out a little bit. Too close. There we go. If you are playing on official, it's harder to get your thralls as close, but there are definitely ways where you can drop them down to the level. Make sure these guys still have, whoop, see, he was running out. This guy, I don't know what he's doing. One of my random rescues. We have lost a berserker. And I can't remember if I ended up placing a door there or not, but we may have lost a door. Sometimes you have to make them follow you and unfollow you, and occasionally you got to move them around into the direction that they're actually going to be useful. Oh, this guy's trying to get in. The camels do try to attack, which is quite funny. We still seem to have only lost the one guy. Every now and then, you just gotta like rescue these dudes because they're pretty stupid. And even when they're following you, they're not gonna do like smart stuff. Like listen to your commands. So we've just got camels all over the shop at the moment, but it's good. It's slowing these guys down in their race to try and get in. And the more that these guys kind of take a long time, the better, because these guys can take longer to kill stuff. Why is he so messed up? Can feed them potions, usually. Won't let me. I think he ate a potion. You can also feed them other potion buffs. It doesn't have to be just the food buff. Oh, we've got Isaiah the Sellsword just fighting for us. Cool. I don't think we can talk to him though. The leashing on these guys is crazy. I would be able to place then maybe a combination banner. And if you want, you can go around and like skin all these guys. And get a whole bunch of skins up. And if you hit them once and then hit them then, and you have the double harvest perk, which I don't, you can get 2 zeal potentially. So skin them once. Sometimes they disappear. You can even get your own thralls. These dudes use sickles as well, and that's less likely to skin the whole person, but you're not going to get hide. Anyone else here dying? No one that I know. And these camels are like barely getting hurt. That's enabling these mercenaries to really end up doing a bunch of damage. We love it. So yeah, the purge isn't actually hard, it's just dependent on how you build stuff. And managing your thralls a bit, because they're kind of stupid still. To be expected. Go help. These guys are definitely more OP with the little hats. I don't think we've lost a single camel yet. And still only really one door. And I might not have ever built that in the end. I can't remember. The rewards are not worth it. The amount of thralls I've already lost, it's not worth it for what we'll get back. Lower level tier purges, definitely more worth doing. Anything up until like maybe a 7. 7s and onwards start getting pretty crazy, and you're more likely to lose more thralls, especially if they're not leveled up and with good armor. Even shitty thralls can take on shitty purges though. This will be causing a little bit of damage. Oh, we've gotten through a couple more doors, which is why it's good to keep these guys in here. In case some of these dudes slip by, because the guys with the battering ram, their goal is to just get to the doors. They don't stop to fight. Some camels are getting a little bit more railed than others, which is funny. And we've lost a battle standard. I've got captain and protectors. I could put down fighters or combination, I believe. That should help. If you do happen to see Isaiah the Sellsword in the cages, you do not want to open the cage before you have your coins on you. He'll just run away. I don't think I'm saying his name right. Well, the sellsword guy. Isaac? I know, him. Dyslexia, I just read everything how I want to read it. If you had teammates, gathering all the resources here would be really seamless. They'd just go around and dodge all the guys fighting. And you could also go around and help and or gather. I don't like that they don't drop anything. It kind of sucks. I think even gold and silver, maybe in their pocket, something to make this more worth it than just random hides. It's definitely more worth going and taking on any form of thrall village. You'd probably get better thralls from the end of it and more loot. 100% chance. This guy's trying to die. Iska, that's his name. What did I call him? Isaiah. Rip. Guy's spreading out a bit. Oh no. Okay, these guys are onto it. They might kill him. That is why it's good to have these thralls over here, because that one would have ended up hopefully being onto it. But it does seem like she's a little bugged out too. You could definitely build this so it's at least a little bit pretty. You could build it less than this. You could build it so many different ways. You could have a few traps in there even, and it would work a little bit to your favor. It's just not really worth it. They tend to just destroy the traps. I had this all surrounded with palisades like that, and then just and these gas traps did nothing. Nothing. I'm so shook that this is like an humanity purge base that they cannot compete with. And that was actually too OP for them. They couldn't even fight it. This they're trying to and they can't compete. Oh, we got a stuck camel. Have we lost anyone else? You'll start seeing your loot bags pop up if you have. There's another guy. Lost him. These archers like to bug out too, which is kind of annoying. But once the cell sword appears, after a million tiers of fucking these guys, you then kill him. He's usually up at the camp, but sometimes he'll wander down here if you're not in admin mode. And then once he's dead, these guys will eventually disappear. It just takes a few seconds. This camel's getting ripped on. Nope. You should not be trying to fight. Like, are you actually stupid? Stop it. He doesn't care. He wants to die. Now we've lost some other battle standards, so I can play some more. Nope. They're probably not going to help. We'll see. I was wondering if they were going to notice him. It is pretty crazy that all this could be tier 1 and just these doors. They wouldn't even need to be tier 3, to be fair. They're not even getting far enough. If you have enough thralls. And you could have even more shitter thralls and just have them like not in as good armor and it would be cheaper for you. This armor is not too hard to gather. Definitely for a tier 10 purge, so you want to have a little bit of a bank of these mercenary banners up. But to be fair, you actually probably just would never bother. There's 0 point to this. You're not going to get anything better back fighter-wise. You can get some pretty decent fighters, and they've buggered bearers now, so you can only really get decent bearers from doing this. But we've got camels, so who cares? I guess. The choices are definitely always a bit odd. This Hand of War can't be too far away. We've gone through a fair few levels of Purge. Probably about got to be 10 waves or so. I'm not actually sure. I've never counted, but it seems to be about the level of Purge you summon. That's how many waves you're copying. Don't think... Yeah, there we go. Another dude died. We are losing people every now and then, which does make it quite sad for what you'll see what we get back loot-wise. It's... If you spend all this time leveling these thralls and then what we get back is just trash, unless you get amazing RNG, you might not get trash. It's good times. Hey, everyone's stuck, but we're still doing things. This thrall needs to do better stuff to help protect. She's from the Purge, but she's broken, so whatever. They are slowly getting there. But they're also pretty dumb, and the corridors tend to fuck them up a bit. So that enables my thralls to get them, especially because these guys aren't doing any attacking. As long as all the thralls don't leave the room, we're pretty good. You have more doorways than this, that would probably make it even better, but it does make them get a little bit stuck like this on occasion. Got another little wave of these guys coming. And if you had tribe mates as well, you'd need a whole lot less thralls, or even yourself actually actively participating. You build little archer towers about, although I find them less effective than just having thralls running about everywhere, to be fair. But you could do that and have different lots shooting these guys. But yeah, I find maces and warhammers seem to be really good as well because it pushes them around a lot and takes out pretty decent groups of them. Now we got our Hand of War. If we go up here, finally, we can kill him. He's going to have the same health no matter what level, although I think the lower levels he might have less, but 5 and above he has this much at least. And we got 7 keys. It is a random amount. You might get less, you might get more. What did we get? We got a barkeeper. Good. You can usually tell the barkeeper because he's not carrying in the cage. Luba the Luscious. I mean, sure. She's a nice bearer. She's a Nordheimer bearer. So they used to have it so the different bearers didn't matter where you got them. I make a video on it and they change it so my video is obsolete. Love that for me, and thank you Funcom for always having our back. They didn't need to make them all different again like they were. They could have just, but yeah. Cool. Who else we get? I mean, we're getting some decent tier bearers from this. Follow me, you fuck. Did I level up that other one? Didn't even. Yeah, you basically have to get high level bearers now from up in Samaria or New Asgardy areas, or from this thing. One of our boxes is buried. That's kind of annoying. If we get this, we'll see that we didn't get very much loot worth it. We can find the archer posts in here, as well as some nice recipes, strategy table, armor, elite armor, some building bits for something. And occasionally you can find treasure, just sit the big treasures that you carry slowly on top of these tables. I don't think I can even get rid of this stone now with this. It's gonna make me get a pick. But you do get a fair bit of time before this whole place leaves, and loot that was pretty not worth all of that effort and the loss of my thralls. Like, what am I going to do with 25 lance cores, Funcom? Thanks for my 1 obsidian composite. Anyway, before you open his cage, make sure you have coins on you because he'll just run away otherwise, and that's annoying. Kushite Fighter 3, fuck yes. And a Leon, okay, go Leon. He's the probably best one we got fight-wise so far. I'll deck him out, you know, sort of crumb. Leons can end up with fairly decent vitality also. This guy, he's going to try and run away pretty quickly, so don't let that happen. Be prepared. Don't bother buying the battery rams. That's not worth it. The explosive jars, you get like 10 in there, I think, but it might be a random chance of getting more. This stuff is maybe worth it, but probably not, to be fair. None of this is worth it. That's definitely not worth it. And then he's going to just run away over here and then just poof in a moment. Any moment now. There. But if you have the barkeep, he has a chance of rocking up at your bar, and we now have our barkeep wherever they ended up. Maybe they went poof in the end. Was it worth it? Fuck no. Would I do it again? Probably not if I got my sellsword shit and my barkeep. Is it worth doing a tier 10? Only if you're bored and you want to lose half your things. And if you're going to do it, definitely build an ugly little maze base. It seems to be the way. I lost a camel. I lost a couple of these guys. Nothing too crazy though. Did Leon end up joining me? I don't even know in the end. Definitely not undoable. They didn't get my treasure. They still had 3 doors to go. The purge isn't as hard as people make out. You just got to think outside the box occasionally and get your barkeep a different way. I highly advise doing lower level purges though, especially if you just want to harvest them for hides and zeal. You get like 3 or 4 waves in a tier 3 purge. You don't need that much gold. It's like 3,000. Get that from harvesting 1 stone. But yeah, don't be afraid. Build yourself a maze, get yourself up a whole bunch of random animals or thralls, and the more the merrier. You don't have to level them. They don't have to be in good clothes. They will probably die though, so make sure you don't give a fuck about them. And hopefully they actually fix all the stuff that they messed up in the update update, because that would be nice if they could ever implement an update that worked, or like, I don't know, have stuff be similar to how it is on the test live. So then we could test it and it would be tested, and then they would know, instead of just getting us to test it and then implementing completely different random shit in the actual live version. That doesn't make sense. But, you know, they do what they do, and they're not going to listen to me because I play PvP or something. I don't know. Stick around for one of these other helpful guides coming up, featuring something else to do with this game, no doubt. And if you found this information informative, smash that like button and consider subscribing if you're not already. It means a bunch. And until next time, I hope you have an excellent day, evening, night, morning, whatever it may be, wherever you may be. Have a good one.